Dylan Mulvaney was on the cover, was on a Bud Light can, like a commemorative six-pack that was mailed to Dylan. There was a brand partnership. Bud Light used Dylan to promote Bud Light, and all hell broke loose. They've lost some $7 billion in market capitalization. Talk with Eric Bowling about that at the top of the show. Sales are plummeting, according to what we read. And the core base is mad. They're mad at Bud Light. They don't appreciate this partnership. Now, Daily Wire reached out to, they say, two sources within Bud Light who are in a position to know, and they say to the Daily Wire, no one at a senior level was aware of this partnership. No one at a senior level. Now, the person who we thought approved it is the VP of Marketing, Alyssa Heinerscheid. And if Alyssa did not specifically approve this ad, shame on her. It's still her problem. It's her department. She allowed it. And she was on the air 3 days before the campaign hit, talking about how we've gotten too fratty and we need to be more inclusive. And look at this Super Bowl ad I did, which is about a male actor, but it was told through his wife's eyes. She was the heart and soul. This is obviously an identity politics Harvard grad who's all about, color, gender, sexual orientation, all the stuff. So whatever, she's not off the hook, but I'm sure it was her anyway. We'll find out. In any event, they're describing it as a low-level marketing staffer who made the call, again, wanting to be more inclusive. And now they're saying that Bud Light is halting all marketing efforts to reevaluate the brand's ad strategies, because your first effort wound up in the toilet, and that they will in the future evaluate all partnerships more robustly. Here's my question for you. Some people are pushing back on people like you, like people like me, and maybe you, who are ticked off about this Dylan Mulvaney partnership with Bud Light. I'm ticked off about Bud Light, but I'm even more ticked off about Oil of Olay and Nike on the sports bras, spaces that are absolutely women's spaces. But all of it bothers me, to be honest. And you have people like Joe Rogan, Howard Stern came out and said, what's the big deal? Why are people mad about this? So do you want to take a shot at that?
Well, yeah. I mean, this also goes very deep into philosophy, but let's not start there. Let's start at the top. If you watch the Dylan Mulvaney ad for Bud Light, he comes on and he says, I don't know anything about sports, and I don't know what's going on. It must be some kind of game. I don't know. Now, my wife is one of the most feminine people I know. She doesn't know anything about sports. She doesn't talk anything like that because she's a grown-up lady who just happens to have ladies' interests. In the same way, I don't talk like Moose McCoy because I happen to have male interests. That's not the way women behave. He is not being a woman. He is doing a woman. He is everything about what he is doing is a show and a performance, and it's a conscious performance. He is not a woman. He is pretending to be a woman consciously and openly. So that means that it is if I did this, it's as if I smeared my face with blackface, did an Amos and Andy voice, not a real, anything that sounded like a real black adult male, but did an Amos and Andy, cliched, old-fashioned racist black voice and tried to sell some product, some kind of hair thing or whatever that was for black people. I mean, Joe Rogan would not be saying, so what? They're just trying to expand their base. They're just trying to reach out to different people. He would understand that this is a deeply disrespectful and, in that case, racist idea. This is worse, and it's worse because of this. White men and black men are not that different. They're basically the same. I mean, the color of their skin is different. Maybe some of the culture is different, but basically as human beings, they're basically the same. Men and women are different. Women and men have different interests. They have different experiences of life. And I'd say they have different magisterium. They have different things that they are good at and in control of and want to do. To say that a man is a woman is to take away a person's identity from the ground up. It is to strip her of who she is and what she goes through. It is so disrespectful and so hateful that it doesn't matter. I don't think Bud Light is hateful. I think the philosophy that they are joining in with is hateful, and it's stupid. And again, I don't know if we have time to talk about it, but this philosophy goes very deep. It is an anti-human philosophy. It is the philosophy that everything about us is a performance. Our gender is a performance. Even what our bodies desire is a performance. So you have people saying that if you are a man and you prefer vaginas to penises, that already is bigotry. That's anti-trans bigotry. But that, of course, is inherent in our nature. The idea that you can just strip somebody of his nature by pretending to be him it is so basically dehumanizing and hateful that I think it deserves everything it gets. And I hope Anheuser-Busch is forced out of business. It's not enough for me that their stock goes down. I don't care about their stock. I want them to be unable to sell a beer in any state in this country, not because of the law, but because people simply will not buy it for the hateful thing they did. And as you say, the idea that Dylan Mulvaney should be representing female products is twice as wicked, twice as hateful. But unfortunately, because women are women, and they don't stand up like men do. Men get angry when you do this stuff, and they strike back, and women should strike back too.
It's so true. You raised a lot of good points. I've been thinking about it. If Bud Light had used Caitlyn Jenner, would I be having the same reaction? And I admit I would not be. Caitlyn Jenner is a trans woman. Caitlyn Jenner doesn't run around trying to say, trans women are women, trans women are women.
No.
Caitlyn Jenner understands there are differences and that trans women should not be competing against women in women's sports and so on. I don't think Caitlyn Jenner would think it's appropriate for Caitlyn to be modeling Oil of Olay or a sports bra company. I feel like Caitlyn Jenner is a genuinely dysphoric person who had this from a very, very young age, as the genuinely dysphoric did, and finally found the courage to transition late in life and hasn't been obnoxious, trying to take brand sponsorships and trying to parody just the most ridiculous idea of women since Caitlyn transitioned. Dylan Mulvaney is a different story. Dylan Mulvaney infantilizes us. Dylan parodies us. Dylan demeans us. Dylan dresses like a little girl and prances around fake hotel rooms, throwing her legs up in the air as though this is what a woman is. Give me a break. I'm no Hillary Clinton fan, but Hillary Clinton is a lawyer and a senator and a presidential candidate. And it's not bad to have people looking at that and understanding that's what a woman is. Nikki Haley is another one that comes to mind. You look at these strong athletes who go out there and leave nothing on the field and they emerge sweaty and strong and unapologetic for having given that's a woman, okay? This Dylan character is humiliating womankind. And people who, like the woman at Bud Light who allowed this, are buying into it. They're promoting it. So it needs to stop. So I'm kind of offended that they don't get it. Let me try to explain it. I realize that they're guys, but walk a mile in our shoes because we've tried really hard to find better examples to little girls. This is one of the reasons why I can't stand the fucking Kardashians. Sorry. But they're not good for little girls either. And we've been speaking out about them. Dylan Mulvaney's in the same camp. That's not a woman. That's not what womanhood is. And it should stop being promoted as though it is. Experts say that China is hoarding a massive amount of food, that they will soon have over 2/3 of the globe's corn reserves, over half of its rice, and half of its wheat. But when asked about it, China misleads. One China expert says they, of course, would never admit to something like that. Well, what does China know that we do not? Why are they doing this? When it comes to global food shortages, China is, they say, the canary in the coal mine. You see, China is the world's #1 food importer. They rely on the rest of the world to keep their people fed, so they can't afford to mess this up or there will be riots, civil panic, or worse. That's why it's a smart idea to stock up on a kit of the best-selling 4 Patriots survival food. Create your own stockpile of the best-selling 4 Patriots survival food kits. Hand-packed in the USA, the kits are compact and stack easily. They have different delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and their 5-star reviews on the website rave about the flavor and the taste. Right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase of 4 Patriots survival food by typing in the code MK at checkout. Just go to the 4 Patriots.com, okay, 4patriots.com, and use code MK to get 10% off your first purchase of 4 Patriots survival food. 4patriots.com. Use that code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.